Good afternoon, everybody. We will start the Regional Hospital District meeting for December the 11th. Again, welcome. We acknowledge the traditional territory of the Dene and the Cree people of the Fort Nelson First Nation, as well as the Dene-Zaa people of the Prophet River Nation, and the enduring presence of the Métis Nation living in our region. Please be advised that today's meeting is available for public to attend virtually and is being streamed and recorded. Are there any additions? Staff?
No, Mayor.
Council? I have none. Is there any public online that wishes to comment? Nobody. Okay. Adoption of the agenda, please. Moved by Councillor Gerwing, second by Councillor Dickey. Do we have quorum? Yes, we do have quorum. I looked right past you, Councillor Souls, and didn't even see. Yeah, there's an empty chair there. So hold on a sec. We don't have a quorum. Yeah, we do. Okay. Thank you. There are two sets of minutes there from May 23rd and October 12th. We need an adoption for that. Please move by Councillor Dickey, the seconder, Councillor Souls. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Those are adopted. Is there any business arising from those minutes? Council? Staff? Seeing none, we will move on to reports. Which gets us to Regional Hospital District Bylaw Report number 81 for the provisional budget adoption bylaw. Would staff like to speak to this, please?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an annual exercise for the hospital district where we put together a provisional budget based on provisional information from Northern Health. And it's due each year by December 31st. And then when Northern Health completes their budgeting in the new year, we then do a final budget for the hospital district in March or April. Within the report, I tried to outline the different types of expenditures that Northern Health requests funding from the hospital district for. And for the most part, things stay relatively the same year over year. This year, we've seen an increase for a project that we didn't see previously. Related to some elevator work that needs to be done. So that pushed up this year's expected budget by about $100,000. Otherwise, the other items were relatively the same. One of the things that we don't necessarily do in the hospital district is project out for the financial plan like we would do with the NRRM. But there is information related to future years, because those are there's some high impact items coming down for the hospital district. With that said, open it up for any questions.
Council, questions?
So my understanding was that the CT scanner project was in the works for fiscal 2024 and 2025, but this document indicates that we are not anticipating having a financial contribution until 2025. So do you have some information that I don't have, or am I is my information about the CT scanner taking place in 2024, 2025 inaccurate, or do you?
I don't think it's inaccurate. What we're faced with the hospital district and budgeting, the hospital district budgets on a calendar year basis, whereas Northern Health budgets from April to March. And so their 2024, 2025 budgeting year is our 2024 budget year. So that's the only, I think, discrepancy that might be leading us to believe that there's a difference.
Angela has her hand up too. I don't know.
Okay, welcome, Angela. Do you have the ability to answer that question?
Yes, thank you for allowing me to speak on this item. So we have not completed the final costing of what that CT project will be. I shared last week or the week before at the Northern Rockies Community Health Planning Committee Steering Committee meeting that we are looking to roll up the replacement that is required for the current radiation or radiology equipment with the proposal for the CT scan. We're doing design to make sure that it will fit within the existing X-ray space. And then we, once that is approved, which is expected in the next week, then we will be able to have it costed, but that costing isn't expected until mid to end of February 2024. So that is why it is not part of the 2024-2025 capital project list.
Well, do you have a phone?
Yeah, that's really disappointing that we are not going to see a CT scanner in Fort Nelson for 2024. I know that that's what the people that have been fundraising had been hoping for. Certainly that was the information that that I garnered from somewhere, that the CT scanner would be operating in 2024. So to hear now that that's not an option till at least 2025 is disappointing. And if it's because we're renovating for a new X-ray machine that we are going to slated for replacement in 2025 or 2026, that disappoints me even further. So I don't even know what to say. That I feel like that's just a delay, another delay, and another how many more trips that community members have to make to Fort St. John and Quates beyond to get a pretty basic diagnostic test done. So yeah, I do have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
Trevor, it's like on page 11 of this report, it says the hospital district currently has 2 reserves: equipment reserve and working capital and future expense reserve. With the hospital district, there's no continued value in keeping the existing reserves. Can you explain to me why there's no value, please?
Yeah, and perhaps the wording wasn't clear. I didn't mean that there's no value in having reserves. I meant there's no value in classifying them the way we have. Okay. And so what I meant by that is previously within the hospital district, we undertook a couple of different activities. Some activities were grant related for what we would send to Northern Health, and some were for our own purposes. With those own purposes now under the NRRM directly, that reserve that had been built up within the hospital district plays no role. We wouldn't be dispersing out of that reserve within the hospital district for those stated purposes.
Right, so those reserve funds were transferred to the NRM.
No, they have to stay, but the purpose that they were established for is essentially eliminated from the perspective of the hospital district.
Right. But the money can still be used for hospital related purposes.
That's all it can be used for.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Good. I have a question about this budget, and I know that a certain portion of this is in camera, but you did say that we have a $4.3 million expectation in 2005 and 2006, more than that combined. Yeah, 4.5, say. With the, you're distracting me. With a maximum requisition amount of 200,000 per year, which pretty much is taken up with the small cap and the things we're talking about today's meeting. So how do we reconcile that? I mean, because even if we borrowed that money, the 200,000 is not enough to pay off the loan and do the small cap year over year. So is there a process for changing that maximum amount?
So it's an interesting question that I don't know that we have complete clarity on. But one part of that we do know. So that 200,000 maximum, we can add to that any debt servicing requirements.
Oh.
So if we were able to borrow within the hospital district, it would be the 200,000 based on our assessment values plus the debt servicing payments.
Plus the debt.
Right. So that provides some room.
Yeah.
But not necessarily the final answer into how we would fund these larger projects in the long term.
Right. And so are we looking for clarity from the ministry then? Or
In a couple of
either
different
Ministry of
ways.
Finance or Ministry of Health? I'm not sure which one.
We're looking for that. And we're also looking at what some of the other organizations have done also to help with that, because we're not quite sure if everyone, for lack of better words, is coloring within the lines,
Right.
like in terms of how they've requisitioned the fund.
Right.
So we're working to that.
And I did hear at the fall meeting that 40% is a suggested guideline. So maybe there's opportunity there as well.
Yeah. Yes, there could be.
But we probably go to the bottom,
I
probably
think-
go
I
to the
think
bottom of the
challenge
list.
runners in this
Probably
one.
go to the bottom of the list. All right, those are the only questions I had. Is there any other questions?
If I could just make a
Go
comment.
ahead.
I realize now that my response to Councillor Gerwin's question about that budget was incorrect. I had it in my mind that CT scanner was 2 years out last year, but it was only out 1 year. And so they did push it. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we're looking for 3 readings of this budget. Is there anybody who would like to move the 3 readings? Moved by Councillor Dickey. Do I have a seconder for 3 readings of the provisional budget? Thank you. I have a seconder, Councillor Souls. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Those carry. Thank you. There are 2 pieces of correspondence there for our information. The first quarter capital status, which was deferred to today's meeting, and the joint fall meeting and the presentation that was made there is in. We can receive those for information, or we can receive it move for information. Councillor Dickey, do I have a seconder? Second, Councillor Souls for information. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. There's no new business. There's no notice of motion, I don't think. Does anybody have one? No. Is there any from the public who wish to ask any questions? Seeing none, I need a motion to move in camera, please. Moved by Councillor Dickey, second by Councillor Gerwing. And this is for information that may be prohibited or information that were presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under Section 21 of the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act. All in favor going camera? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. We'll just rearrange the room here. So we're back streaming. Thank you. So we are finished with the in-camera portion of the Regional Hospital District meeting. We are now back into the regular meeting, and we do have a report to rise with from the in-camera meeting. Corporate manager could read that report, please, or that statement.
Moved by Counselor Gerwing, seconded by Counselor Dickey, that Northern Health is currently unwilling to fund any of the capital costs related to the CT scanner project, as a CT scanner is not in the service plan for Fort Nelson at this time. Carried unanimously.
Thank you very much for that. Adjournment is in order now for the regular Regional Hospital District meeting. Moved by Counselor Dickey, second by Counselor Souls. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much, everybody. We are finished.